Okay, so got a lot of ground to cover. I'm going to try to do a very quick update. I know I say that every time and the video runs over. I apologize. We're going to try to get through this very, very quickly with a lot of ground to cover. So to dive right in. So as you've seen the news this morning, we have two LOIs or H2O Processing. We received two LOIs from a credit facility under the SBA 7A program, that loan program. That's going to start off at around $500,000. The reason they do that is they have credit authority of up to $500,000. Anything above and beyond that's got to go under review. We're just going to get these things started as far as the manufacturing for this specific equipment, and then we would increase or request an increase, I should say, of up to $5 million, which is allowed under that loan program. So as we perform and as we deliver the equipment on site, and we have some data from that equipment, we can up the line of credit, hopefully. So that's what we're looking at. That combined value is about $10 million in lending power. I am not saying that that's finalized. What we are looking at are two lines at $500,000 apiece to cover the manufacturing costs, as many of you well know, on the iron mitigation or the iron removal system that H2O Processing manufactures. Okay. I got a lot of phone calls and questions, so I'm going to incorporate that into the update video and not go down each question, many of which revolve around additional financing, how many sources. We're not going to get into that because you can put 10, 15 applications in and maybe only 5 or 6 get approved. So we're working through that. We are finalizing several other institutional level or institutional banking facilities. These are non-dilutive. I think I mentioned previously several times that my preference is to go after more traditional banking, so that we're not dealing with some of the stuff that you might typically see in this arena that is pretty toxic and dilutive. We're trying to stay away from that. That's not going to benefit anyone. Okay. All of these facilities are direct lending facilities with complete credit authority up to various amounts. So I'll give you an example. This one today, they have credit authority up to $500,000. We have a couple of them that have authority up to $5 million. We're currently working through that. And then those lines would, again, go to review and then be increased. What are we seeking? Each facility that we're looking at is anywhere between $1 million all the way up to $10 million each. So we are looking to support, and I think it's understandable, right? If you look at the costs associated with manufacturing and maintaining the equipment, we're speaking specifically to the iron removal system that H2O Processing manufactures. That particular system's got about $500,000 plus upside on cost to deliver to site. So we have to make sure that we have adequate capital to service all of the contracts that we currently have. Now, this kind of leads me into the next point because I've been asked about this. We do have additional clients that are interested in signing an agreement. As I've stated before, I have, as well as the team over at H2O Processing, we've decided to kind of hold off on signing up new clients until we can service the existing contracts totaling 51, 52 million. We need to make sure that before we onboard new customers, that we can service our existing customers and potentially customers that we're onboard, because you have to take a look at the need here. And I know we've touched on this in the past, but the first 3 contracts, like I said, totaling just over 50 million, those pale into comparison to what future contracts we're looking at. There's almost a dozen clients looking to onboard. Those numbers quickly grow. So we need to make sure we have everything in place so that we can deliver. We don't overpromise and underdeliver. We need to deliver on that agreement, and we don't want any lag time. So that's what we're doing as of right now. Why is this funding significant? And this kind of touches on a few questions. Hopefully I'll answer a bunch of them in this one statement. This is going to trigger a production schedule, a delivery schedule, delivery of the equipment to site. And then, of course, this triggers a complete revision of the revenue guidance for H2O Processing. We're not going to get into that today. There's a lot of things that I need to take in before we can give you something that's even remotely accurate. But obviously, it's greater than what we closed out 2022 with. So this is a very significant leap forward. and this is only one facility that we have finalized. So that's where we're at. And again, this having this capital is more of a resource, not just in buying product, but now we're able to get into a supply chain order line where we can reduce delivery times. To give you an example, we've been able to reduce some of the lead times. I think just on the tanks alone, I think we reduced the lead time 2 weeks. In some cases, it's as much as 3 to 4 weeks. So those components, those lead times are shrinking. So instead of taking 10 weeks, now we're looking at anywhere between 8 weeks, in some cases 6 weeks on some componentry. So this is a pretty big step forward. And that, again, the quicker we get those components in, the quicker we can go into manufacturing, the quicker we can go into quality assurance, and then the quicker we can deliver the product on site, and then quicker we can get to revenue positive and generating revenue. So it's a pretty big step forward. Additionally, so we have been contacted by another group, coincidentally, on Ossifix. So we are currently engaging and reviewing some options on, onboarding some capital for Ossifix to support their expansion. That is very quickly growing. The demand is increasing quite consistently, and we need to make sure we can meet that demand. So we are not only in negotiations with that group that approached us, but I have entered into a new strategy, if you will, and new negotiations in reference to onboarding some additional capital for Ossifix to support their growth as well. I don't want to get into numbers. They're significant, relatively speaking, for what we've done in the past, but we are getting to the point where the companies are going to need that much needed capital for growth. So we are working towards making sure that all the companies have the tools they need to grow and drive those revenues for us. And of course, that provides not only the products and suite of services that we can provide to customers, but also the shareholder value that we've all been working towards. So, I'm going to try to cut it off here. I know there's going to be some questions. We could create a thread, and I will get into answering those questions in the next video. We might be able to do a Q&A video next week, but there's going to, in all probability, be an update video following news next week as well. So I've got to kind of get through all of this. Bear with us, and any questions that have not been answered, you can always contact me. Like I said earlier in a video we put out this morning, I'm a little inundated, but I am working towards getting all of those questions and phone calls returned. So I hope everybody's doing well. I hope everyone enjoys the update and enjoys their weekend, and I will talk to you next week. Thank you.